Turn your books to page 83, your textbooks, to where we're talking about section 2. Then I need you to turn to your journal, open to the next clean sheet after your title page so we can start setting up the journal. Go ahead and pause here so that you can see that you need to be on page 16A, write Egyptian Pharaohs, main idea, and details. Pause now. On the next page, go ahead and set up 16B, 16C, and 16D. Pause now and get those done. Now that you have your journal all set up, we're going to be working on the pharaohs, Egyptian pharaohs, for the next few days. We're going to be working through section 2, section 3, section 4, and section 5. We're going to work on section 2, Pharaoh Khufu, the pyramid builder, together so you understand how you're going to take notes in this section. First, notice that the section is called Pharaoh Khufu, the pyramid builder. We're going to go ahead and write that in our journals under the main idea section. This way you know that your notes in this section are only about Pharaoh Khufu, the pyramid builder. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if I start talking before you're done writing. Now we're going to read the section of the text. As we read each section, we're going to stop at each paragraph and decide, did they give us a detail that we should know that directly relates to Pharaoh Khufu, the pyramid builder? Here we go. The Pharaoh Khufu ruled from about 2551 to 2528 BCE during the Old Kingdom period. Today, he is best known as the architect of a famous pyramid. So stop there and ask yourself, did they give you details that we need to write about our main idea? I think they did. We're going to talk about him ruling in 2551 to 2528 BCE. We can note that it's the Old Kingdom period and that he's also known as the architect of a famous pyramid. So go to your details section and use bulleted notes only. I want you to notice here that I did an indented bullet. That means this bullet continues this information. They are related. So since it was from 2551 to 2528 BCE, it's also called the Old Kingdom period. I pushed in that bullet so that you know that one relates to it. It also says he was an architect. So I'm going to bring my bullet back out and write that he was an architect. It says of a famous pyramid, but they haven't told me which yet, so I'm going to keep going. Let's go to paragraph 2. Not much is known about Khufu. Some stories describe him as a cruel, harsh ruler. Others say that he was powerful but kind. Because these are opinion statements and it's not backed by historians, or it says that it's not really known, I'm not going to write these facts down. Let's go on to paragraph 3. Historians do know that Khufu helped establish the pharaoh as a central authority. For example, he maintained strict control over Egypt's food supply. He oversaw the harvest and the storage of extra grain. He also controlled a large network of government officials who enforced his laws. Khufu emphasized his supreme power by declaring himself a god. Okay, so a lot of information about Khufu here and his duties as a pharaoh. So I'm going to come back to my notes, and this is going to be a new bullet. It's not indented, and I'm going to actually call this duties as a pharaoh. And all the other details beneath it from the text, I'm going to use indented bullets. so that you know those are his duties. It says maintain strict control over Egypt's food supply. Controlled food supply. Remember, you're taking bulleted notes, not writing or copying full sentences. And then under food supply, I can indent one more time and write harvest and grain storage. Because that's part of food. Then it says he also controlled a large network of government officials who enforced laws. I'm going to bring that not all the way out, but even with the first controlling of food supplies, and say that he controlled government officials. And those government officials are the ones who enforce the laws. So I'm not going to write that detail, because remember, that main idea is about Pharaoh Khufu, and we're writing about his duties as a pharaoh. So his duty there is to control the government officials. Khufu emphasized his supreme power by declaring himself a god. So he thought that one of his duties was also to be the supreme power. Okay, now let's keep going on the next paragraph. Khufu and other old kingdom pharaohs had magnificent pyramids, but as tombs for themselves and their families. Khufu was responsible for the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the wonders of the ancient world. So I'm going to come all the way back out again. New paragraph, new bullets. They had magnificent pyramids built as tombs for themselves and their families. And he's the one who built the Great Pyramid of Giza. So I'm going to write responsible. That's why they said he was the architect. Responsible for building Great Pyramid of Giza. Now they said that was his tomb for him and his family. So I can indent that bullet and put a little note that it was a tomb. Going back to the next paragraph, we're now on paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Great Pyramid sat at the center of a huge complex of temples, statues, monuments, and smaller tombs. It was made of more than 2 million stone blocks, perfectly fit together. Inside, tunnels led to several burial chambers. The king's chamber had 6 roofs to hold up the weight of the stone layers above it. Okay, even though that is a very interesting paragraph and we're learning a lot about the Great Pyramid, please remember what your main idea is. Look here at your main idea. Your main idea is about Pharaoh Khufu, the pyramid builder. Okay, we already mentioned that he built the Great Pyramid of Giza and already noted that it was his tomb. We don't have to go into specific details about the pyramid unless we made a new main idea called the Great Pyramid. And that is not our task today. Our task is to look and study the pharaohs of Egypt. So we're going to keep reading. Building the Great Pyramid was an amazing feat. No one knows exactly how the Egyptians constructed it, but it took about 20 years to complete. Khufu had strict control of the project, organizing and feeding thousands of workers. The finished pyramid was a stunning monument to Egyptian engineering. Now, I do see here that even though it's about the Great Pyramid, they do talk about Khufu having strict control of the project. So since we have a bullet here that says responsible for building the Great Pyramid of Giza, we called it a tomb. We can also have another indented bullet saying that Khufu had strict control of the project. He controlled the project and organized the feeding of workers. I could have made that 2 bullets if I wanted to, but I just continued compound. And that's it for this section. That's all we're going to do. Now when you stop this video, you're going to turn the page to section 3. You're going to follow the same process that we just did for Pharaoh Senruset, the patron of the arts. You're going to turn to the next page in your journal. You're going to go to 16B, and you're going to set it up by writing the name of the section, which in this case is Pharaoh Senusret the first, and then he's patron of the arts. You can now stop the video and start on working on this page. You may also choose to work with a partner next to you in your area, one of your shoulder partners. You can have 2 to 3 people in your group, but no more than 3, and remember, they must be your shoulder partners. Have a great rest of your day.